better sit down. I got some news. I'm getting out, cutting you loose.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Memphis on the Mark. I'm your hostess, Mark Jones, and with me today is local comedian Josh McLane.
Hey,
Josh,
thank you, Mark.
Welcome to the show.
No one ever calls me a comedian. That is fantastic.
You are.
No, I get up there and yell at everybody. There are people in this town who work really hard on jokes and stuff. I get by on sheer enthusiasm, but I'm going to ride it until I die.
It's enthusiasm and then just the loudness.
Yeah, I get loud. That's the one thing I have over anybody else in Memphis comedy is that I am definitely louder than anybody else you're probably going to meet. That is just the one good thing about me. I don't know why I went in the corner with that, but yeah, that's what I can do.
That's all good. So how long have you been doing comedy?
I've actually been doing comedy about 7-8 years now. I've only been funny in the last year.
Okay.
Year and a half, so that's good. I'm glad I decided to wait and record a record.
That's right. So in grade school, you weren't going around telling jokes like,
oh, no.
Hey,
I was
a math teacher, English teacher, and a science teacher went into a McDonald's, and they all...
No, I'm the guy who used to lie about everything to make you like me. So it's really not much different than what I'm doing now.
That's what comedy is.
It's pretty much the same. No, I was not like the funny kid in school. I just didn't want to get hit. I tried to stay as quiet and like away, not so much quiet, but
not
away.
Getting hit.
Not
That's
getting
always
hit, really.
a good.
Anything that goes around
that's good
that.
goal, kids. Is don't get hit.
Don't
in
get
school.
hit. But chicks do love scars. So you know what are you gonna do?
So what? Yeah,
catch 22.
It is catch 22.
You're not gonna live until you live.
Exactly. So you just mentioned the old comedy album.
Yes.
You just cut one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just released one called "Don't Be Afraid of the Dark" through Fat Sandwich Records. Through Seasick Records in Alabama and on a punk label, and it's awesome. We recorded it at the High Tone in July.
I think I was there for that show.
Yeah, that's right. You showed up. That meant a whole lot because I barely knew you even still then. That was kind of nice. That's when you've done your work promoting something when you look out in the crowd and you're not related to most of them.
That's a nice day.
It was like, oh, I don't know 60% of these people. Yeah. This is fantastic. And I'm making money.
Exactly.
That doesn't happen in Memphis.
That is sweet.
That happens to Craig Brewer. And that's about it. Maybe Lucero. That's about it, yeah.
Right. So,
no, it was great. Released that. Really proud of that. We did that all in that entire records in one take. It's we had to cut a chunk out for time at the end because I was wondering why comedians never did a 2-hour record because I went for an hour and 45 minutes up there that night. And I was like, I'm going to put out the whole thing, punk rock. We're going to do it like that. And because to make a double album is expensive as all get out.
Okay, well
so
there
we
you
cut
that's
out a
the
big
answer.
chunk of that, and it's all no edits. It was really important to me to capture the night.
Sure.
Like no fluffing for jokes, no editing for any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
And if I edited, you wouldn't hear my stepmom yell out randomly during my set, which actually ends up being a pretty cool part.
And that was a nice part of the whole show.
It's one of those when it first happened, I was like, ha. Second happened, I'm kind of like, third time happened, I was like, oh, we're on to something. I remember there's a moment, if you listen to the record, there's a moment where she said something like the third time, and I just acknowledged it. And from that point on, I acknowledged her and my dad the entire record. And
they were right there on the front row
center,
yeah.
Which you wonder why you never, at like an Amy Schumer show or that, you never see their parents in the front row, because they're smart.
Yeah.
Because they put them in the back away from the microphone.
Exactly.
But still, it turned out to be something different, and because I don't like I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of calling myself a comedian because I don't always write jokes per se. A lot of my stuff's like dips and wanes. My dad called me the biggest white trash raconteur he's ever seen, and I was like, I'll take it.
Sure.
I'll take it. You know, if one of my grandparents said something to the effect of Mark Twain if he had done time in 201.
Okay.
I'll take that.
I would take that.
I'll take that in a
Mark
heartbeat.
Twain if he done some 201.
I would think it's closer to like Mark Twain's like third down generation son who was like in Limp Bizkit. That's as close as I'll get to that. That's as close as I'll get to that. But that would mean I was rich, so there's still something to take from that.
There's a lot to take from that. There's a lot. What is your take on stand-up or on comedy right now in Memphis? What's the...
It's fantastic. Things are ballooning moderately nicely. Hopefully it won't explode in a bad way. Things are good right now. There's people like myself and Katrina Coleman, Tommy Oler, Doug Gillen, we all took it upon ourselves to start our own shows. I have a monthly show at the High Tone called Don't Be Afraid of Comedy Memphis, where I bring in some out-of-town people and we have some local people and do all that. We're at a point now where people aren't just going, Memphis? You know, like we've had Katrina Coleman's run the Memphis Comedy Fest for I think it's 4 years now, and it's like we're getting national attention. And
I've been to some of those. That's in February or March.
Yeah, March, first of March.
And it brings in a lot of people from around the city.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a
country.
It's become now that this is year 4, it's become an institution-esque type thing where it's coming like that. But things are good in comedy in Memphis. You know, it's People are coming through. Clubs are willing to take chances on comedy, which was like fucking never happened back in the day. And man, it's pretty cool. We're just at the point now where all the comedians who've all loved each other for a long time kind of want to kill each other. So I mean, that's usually when a situation kind of blows up for the good is when everybody starts looking for themselves to a certain degree. Richard Douglas Jones, one of the bigger Memphis comedians, has this thing called the Black Nerd Power podcast, which is one of the top-rated podcasts on iTunes now.
Really?
And it is phenomenal. And it's great because you can't. It's not just like your friends are successful. They're successful in their field doing something that doesn't suck, which means way more for me than it does you just making money on cheap-ass BS.
Right,
You know what I mean? And anybody can do that. But no,
and they do.
Yeah, and they do. And so everybody's got to do their own thing. But it's nice having people who actually have some merit and actually care about what they do. You know, if I wanted to be successful, I wouldn't do anything that I do stand-up wise. I would write jokes the way I'm supposed to. I would dress like this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever come see me do stand-up, I will not be dressed like Guy Fieri's bastard son. No, I wear a suit all the time.
He wears a suit.
And I feel
We got you on your lunch.
naked. I literally came from. I have no time breaking kayfabe. I literally came from work to hang out with you, and I have to go back to work as soon as it's done because that's the real life that the world is.
That's what you're doing right now.
But you know, it is what it is. It is what I'm wearing my T-shirt that can be available at StanleyJusticeProductions.com.
Sure, order a shirt, kids.
Yeah. All right, cool, excellent. Thanks.
Now, I think I first met you. First got to hear some. You work at Roundhouse Revival, the first one on May 23rd, and you did both.
Yep.
You did 1 and 2.
Yep.
But so you actually do hosting duties.
For that, yes, that actually, I've always, I've had a monthly show. It's not my show, but I host a monthly wrestling show in Oklahoma, Mississippi.
Where is that in Mississippi?
About 10 minutes outside of Tupelo.
Sure.
It's a 2-hour drive. It kind of stinks, but there is nothing like when an entire small town comes out for wrestling every month. When someone yells at something at the ring, and some other guy 3 rows over from goes, "Shut up, Jimmy! I'm gonna beat your ass at work on Monday." Like there is just nothing like that feeling. So
that is Americana,
man, dude,
in a nutshell.
So Eric Wayne, the wrestler who kind of runs that place, runs the bill, and that got me in on that show, and he introduced me through other people and introduced me to Mark James, and then I can't remember who put me up for the first gig. To be perfectly honest, I think they wanted a bunch of comedians to do it, and then they kind of settled on me just taking major duties. And then I passed it out to a bunch of other Memphis comedians. Chris Rex was on that. Right. Reggie Jr., whose dad is Reggie B. Fine, was on that. Benny Elbows, a good friend of mine from Blacksmith Comedy, was on that. And and Richard Douglas Jones was on that. And that turned out to be a good thing, and they asked me for round 2, which was nice. Actually, I got told, but that was still pretty cool like that. It's like, oh, by the way, you're doing the next one. And I was like,
okay.
All right.
But you were good enough to be brought back.
And I told Mike McCarthy if there's a third one, we do a third one, I'm getting paid in corn dogs.
Yes.
I have no problem doing them for 3, but by the third one, I think I deserve at least 2 corn dogs. All I want is 2. I'm not expensive. I'm not highbrow, but I want 2 corn dogs.
2 corn dogs, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for the Coliseum Coalition. Is the next one will be actually inside the Mid-South Coliseum.
From your mouth to God's ear.
Isn't that the truth?
And I'm an atheist, but I will still say that.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was great. It was a great time. Like I said, I got to meet Tommy Musso when it was turned into one of my
Tommy's a
closest
great guy.
friends.
Yes.
I don't make friends very much. I know everybody in this town. I've gotten around for years, from working at the Daisy for Mike Glenn to working at the P&H for years to being in a million different bands.
Right.
Check out Heels on iTunes right now. But I have like 4
after
friends.
the show.
Yeah, after you're done with this. But I have like 5, 6 friends, and I put Tommy at like the top of the pack.
That's awesome. So you just got met him like 6 months ago.
He and I just clicked. That guy.
Tommy's
that
a good
guy
fella.
loves Memphis wrestling. Takes no shit off anybody. And he's a big Tool fan. 3 things that are in every close friend. Yeah, 3 things that are in every close friend I have are those 3 things. It's pretty cool.
That's
pretty
awesome.
Cool. But yeah, so that turned out to be a really, really, and it's great to give back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I will never shill for another politician, and I ran for write-in vote for city council last year, and actually got 150 votes.
Nice.
That got kind of scary. For a minute there, I was like, oh shit, I might get
I might win.
This might win. But
I think you would be hilarious up there, but you might hate it.
Oh no, I would hate it. Oh, I can tell you, I know enough about the system where I would hate it. I actually had the talk with Kara, my wife, Kara, and she said, if you win, since you didn't go to school or anything, you can't really promote anything new. But what you can do is be the guy that calls everybody on their bullshit every time they're lying. She's like, 'cause you don't have a political career. And I was like, can I run just as a bullshit-o-meter? And next year, this year 2016, it may happen.
That'd be
Whenever
nice.
we do city council vote again, I think I may just watch.
Well, county commission we do that like
That's
2
right.
years.
That's every 2 years. Yeah. That would be an interesting thing to say the least. But then again, I mean, who wants to denote that amount of time for a job they hate? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, that's like
and you have
that's
to
like
spend
voting
money.
to get on a job at McDonald's to a certain degree. You know, a job
Right.
that's just going to suck no matter what. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? This town's great, and you got to do something to try and give back.
Exactly.
The Coliseum was something I could definitely get behind 110%, and that was a great weekend.
Good. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. What? Anything else going on with you? Any upcoming show? You're going to be on the stage.
Oh yeah. Well, I try and. I didn't go to college, so I'm 36 making sandwiches. So,
But they're great sandwiches.
Oh, they're great. I love Fino's. Go to Fino's. It's fantastic. But nobody. Let's put it this way. My wife is a 6'3" marketing executive, right? I don't want to ever get divorced. And I'm really pretty sure she doesn't want to be married to a 40-year-old sandwich person.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Nothing against anybody in the game. If you're running a business, that's different.
Yes.
But just a guy on the line, sorry. I need to be more than that. So the only thing I know how to do is put my fingers in as many pots as I can. I make movies, I do stand-up, I'm in bands, I host stuff. And because I'm a mildly decent drummer, I'm going to be playing drums in the Green Day musical at Playhouse on the Square, which is great because I know all kinds of proper actor buddies that I have that are in plays, and none of them have been in Playhouse on the Square. So that's...
That's going to be... Now, what is the name of that?
It's American Idiot.
American Idiot?
The Green Day musical, and I'm playing drums.
That is awesome.
That's the only way I would ever be in a play that would be in Playhouse on
Well,
the Square.
it's a start.
Yeah.
You might be
There's
doing...
a reason that we do Action Clown that was in Indie Memphis this year, and it's a silent character, which is hilarious because, like, all I do is run my mouth doing stand-up and all that. But when I wrote one, Eric let me write a character specifically for me.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say a single word because I am not going to be that guy that screwed up a take for getting his lines wrong.
You could be...
Not gonna be that guy.
I'm sure there's a play out there that they might get that has a mute in it.
If Robert Altman comes back from the dead and wants to do an improvised comedy thing about a guy who yells at everybody and is desperately trying to maintain his faith in the social and political system, I am the guy. Or if there's a Limp Bizkit bio. Or if there's a Limp Bizkit one, I am so the guy.
We can start
Look
writing.
at these terrible tattoos.
Well, could you be like a Sam Kinison? I mean, he was a big shouter.
But they're... I mean, I rip off Sam Kinison and Bill Hicks every single time I go on stage as it is. So which probably means that I would be the last person you want to do for that kind of thing. I don't know why, but I mean, if somebody wrote that, I'd be down.
Okay.
I'd be down, but I can't stand wasting people's time. I absolutely loathe it. So
Jordan Nichols, Jackie Nichols, someone, Playhouse on the Square, let's get a role for this guy, you know? Let's work on that.
I'm short, but you know, that's not everything.
And he's sweet. So listen, I'm going to do
Thank you, Mark. That's sweet
You're
of you.
welcome. I'm going to do a little thing I like to call Moments with Mark.
Okay.
And I'll do a little monologue with the camera, and
Okay.
you can watch.
Okay.
Today's Moment with Mark is just short and sweet. We have got to promote and do more to help our actors in Memphis, our stand-up comedians, filmmakers, all sorts of artists. We need to make this top of the list and really get the city behind the arts. Make this, get cash, put it into the artist hands. That's the best way we can help artists. Artists that actually need it and deserve it, really deserve it. Creative people who can produce good art. So that's something that the city needs to do, and I hope they will. Listen, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. You bet.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Thank you. Y'all, support your local people. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Don't be afraid.
Getting out.